Hello and welcome to Aural Hygiene. It's the podcast where we talk about educational films, experimental caught films, and interesting documentaries. This is Matt today. With me today is Andrew Shearer. Howdy.
Hi, hello, howdy, howdy.
Took you a while to get to howdy there. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
right.
cool. You're just trying to be contrary, right?
No, I just thought, what would Robert?
Ornery.
Yeah, shit,
um,
shit, oh no, shit.
Yep. Today is The Perfect Crime, a 1950s driver's ed film, weirdly directed by Robert Altman. I guess just getting his career started on this. Yeah, it's just weird. But Andrew, you wanna give us the rundown of this one?
Yeah, so this is you think that this is going to be a movie about driver's ed or driver safety or something like that, and it is, but it's presented by Caterpillar and is really just a kind of a weird shill for its own services when it all shakes out. you
When you
finally you see the back hose at the very end. They're like, so if you don't want to be a inhumane piece of crap, hire Caterpillar.
yeah, they're doing the long sell here, right? But could you give us that summary of what did I ask that already? Was that your summary?
Yeah, it was the short version.
Yeah, the short version. Okay, because there's this dude and there's I I think this is the most condescending guy that's been in one of these movies so far.
Yeah, no, he's terrible. Like he's really terrible. I mean, he's making you feel like no matter what you do when you drive, you're gonna kill people.
I mean, you could just not drive. I was like, hey, I drive like once a week, maybe.
Yeah, and it turns out it's filmed in the jail cell of the DUI guy. He's like, and that's why I resolved to never drive again. I'm like, no, 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 that was a court order, sir.
The weapon, speed, the killer, possibly you.
Yeah.
Like
It's
what
it's
kind?
set up with a very odd analogy. I like the beginning, and it's rough actually because he does. Well, am I allowed to go ahead and just sort of set up that intro? He it's a little girl with her grandma buying. I guess she's buying candy, or she like does she try to steal it on or something like. It's very innocuous what happens in the store, and
Well, I
then
read the most stoned looking man in the store is robbing it.
yeah, he comes in and they just sort of pan to this dude, and he just looks like very, very fucked up. And then he walks in and he shoves the little girl away from the counter, and he's like, "Okay, Gramps, give me your money." And the guy's like, "I only got 14 bucks." And he kills him, and then he kills grandma, and then they don't show it, but you hear him take another shot, which means he killed the kid, and then
Right.
he runs off and gets in his car, and a lady's just leisurely walking down like she didn't hear nothing, runs into the store, and then of course,
Oh no, no, no. I wrote the specific quote: "Help, police, murder, help."
yeah, yeah, that's right, help, murder, police, help, as it's fading out. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so
um
much murder for $14 and a little change. Don't forget he had a little bit of change as
a
well.
little bit of change. I had trouble making the connection. I think this was a really like the analogy for me just didn't work.
I'm assuming this was not Altman's pet project. So I think whoever wrote it was maybe just had some grudges to kick in the ass. I don't know.
Yeah, no, don't look for any Altman isms in this movie. I mean, you can't tell that Altman made it. I mean, it's
No.
just the flattest thing. I mean, in fact, there's some really poorly choreographed action in the beginning. Someone really badly wanted to see the pistol whip actually connect with the face. So it's this very weak that the guy gives to grandpa in the store. And I'm like, okay, so that's not how you shoot a pistol whip. I mean, at all, because it has no effect
Well, the guy
whatsoever.
was old. You didn't have to. I mean, a stiff a stiff breeze would knock them over.
Guess so. Maybe it's just like, I'm gonna touch you, fool, and you're just gonna fall. But I just thought, yeah, I mean, literally, Altman just needed to take one half step behind the guy's shoulder, and then maybe 2-3 feet away from the old man, and it would have just looked like great.
You got to make that like your new line when you walk into a room and you're like, saying hi. You don't say hi, what's up? It's like, I want to touch you, fool.
I'm gonna touch you, fool. I'm gonna check your cheek, Grandpa.
So, yeah, but it also it was just. I mean, they could have shown like a less like cartoonishly, ridiculously horrible crime, I suppose. I mean, maybe they're like, no, we got to go all the way. The kid beats
No,
up.
they wanted to make an impact. So kids in the room, especially if it was a little chilly in the room and they're about, they're falling asleep, or they got drugs off the guy who's the star of the movie.
Except now it seems like it seems more like a sequence from one of those 80s parody films or something because it's so over the top.
Yeah, it could be almost like Amazon Women Out of the Moon. Or no,
Yeah.
no, no, wait, American Werewolf from London, which was the one where the guy is like, like, you told me you'd never do this again. Or no, you cheated on my wife. I'm not your wife. Oh, sorry.
I don't remember which one. There's the Groove Tube. There's the Kentucky Fried Movie, but they all kind of run together,
They do, because it's that same humor. It's like oh no, it was American Werewolf, because he goes, you promised me you'd never do this to me again. I don't know who you are. Oh, sorry. And he
Well, the worst,
so,
when you have 500 jokes within a 5-minute period, it's one of them it'll just law of averages. One of them is going to be funny,
yeah, no, it's throw everything against the wall, one will stick.
Yeah.
I think they did that for shock value for the opener, so that people like me, or whoever else is. What year was this thing made? Like it was in the 50s, 54, something like that.
54, that's right.
So you want to get that drive-in audience going like, whoa, man, this isn't going to be some boring educational film. This
And
is
they
intense.
and then it just becomes this guy like festering in his own juices for the rest of it, like trying his best to make you feel like shit for existing.
Yeah, it's so weird because I noticed that Caterpillar thing at the very beginning. Caterpillar is, of course, a company that makes construction equipment, and so I'm seeing that going like, okay, Caterpillar, where are we going with this? It was just an odd thing for it, and it got there, but it took a really long. This was like a 20-minute, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it took them a really long time to get there, but it made me feel like, remember the Chuli's gum guy from Clerks?
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
He makes this whole big thing like he's not selling Chuli's gum, and then at the end, he's like, "I'm gonna buy this Chuli's gum." That's the way this like read to me, is this whole thing like, the roads just really suck, and you use them, you're a murderer, and by the way, Caterpillar's here to fix them. Peace.
Well, you got to give it. Atlanta's I-285 is a damn bad road with too many cars.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I like to go on YouTube and every now and then and search worst roads in the world.
Are they Russian usually? Because they got the Russian dashboard footage, right?
Yeah, no,
Those are
but
the
there's
ones I
all
want to see. The Russian dashboard footage.
dash cam footage. Yeah, there's ones that are mountain roads that are just like bananas. You're like going, who would? And then there's just intersections in India also. But 285, yes, it's the worst, and they have never worked on it ever.
Up,
It's just
I just got dream recall from last night. I was on a street corner and there's like a kind of Optimus Prime looking truck, and then something just like ran, like smashed into it and completely smashed the front end of the truck.
huh,
Okay.
crazy.
It just popped in my mind, but yeah, that was last night's dream. So maybe the perfect crime stuck in my head, man.
I don't know who did it, but somebody did a video one time or an animation one time of someone sitting inside a transformer when it transforms. Just get like obliterated.
Well, they do usually throw them, at least in the movies. Sam Witwicky gets thrown out of the car first before they transform usually.
Yeah, but imagine they stay up in there just.
I think by the last night, though, they have them in the vehicle as it's transforming. I mean, the peeps.
I've been told that's the one I need to see. I liked Bumblebee, as we're talking about car movies, because we're going to try to make this work. This is not a segue. This is Sidebar of
Yeah.
the worst kind. But no, I the point they keep smashing forward is how you're a murderer by driving on the road in poor conditions. And at first it's about like is there drunk driving in here?
I don't think so. No, they do. Oh, okay. Here, I actually did make the note of what they say. Um, Make sure to drive more slowly if you've been drinking.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, is he saying drinking and driving is like legally cool in 1954? I mean, Cary Grant got arrested, right?
You did.
I mean, not the
Yeah.
actor, the North by Northwest, but he did drink
Yeah.
the whole bottle of whiskey, though. Or no,
Yeah,
they
no,
poured the
Cary
whole
Grant
bottle
in
of
real life,
bourbon.
as we all know, was an LSD head.
Right, right, to cure
So
the migraine.
he, they use this analogy about the guy killing the people and then fleeing the scene of the crime in a car at the beginning. They want to use this sort of like, okay, well, you wouldn't do this. You wouldn't shoot grandma and grandpa and the little granddaughter. So why would you drive on a poorly paved road?
My
It's,
my favorite my favorite bit of advice is where they seem to be telling you to just take straight roads, not the curving roads, definitely not the gay ones.
yeah, no. There's the equivalency here is just really, really warped.
It's like I can't plot my route on all straight roads. It's not how it works.
No,
Maybe it does in the Midwest.
this maybe if anyone wanted to venture to watch it twice, it would be funny to then knowing that this was watch it with the watch it knowing that Caterpillar is ultimately trying to sell something in this, and it's I think probably going to be funnier or at least amusing. Did you find any of it like super funny? Did you laugh at anything?
I laughed at my own jokes. Um, by the end of the movie, I just like they kept going closer and closer up on him each time,
Yeah,
and I was like, I can punch him now. Except I
I
destroy
know.
my computer screen.
He was so miserably he just really I think hated people. I'd like to know what the scenario was when Caterpillar was like, look, okay, we got this chance to make a giant commercial for ourselves, but there's rules about that, so we got to make sure we make it seem educational, so it can't be Caterpillar's so great. Well, what are we going to do? All right, you know that guy that hangs out on the sidewalk and pisses himself every day, like we got to call the cops. He'll be the narrator.
That's where the Altman comes in.
Yeah, we've got it now. Altman's like, let's bring him in.
Yeah,
But
yes. Stunt
you also,
casting weirdos for small parts.
yeah, and uh, and then we're gonna get Frank Cross from the movie Scrooged to come in and make the audience so terrified not to hire Caterpillar.
Hey, if we could like cross the time streams, what would make this film like phenomenal
Let's see.
if we could take Frank Burns out of the MASH movie and put him here. The Robert Duvall one, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Hell, I'll take the TV one too. I'm just trying to go for the Altman connection.
well, no, I meant Frank Cross from the movie Scrooged.
Yeah, yeah, that works too. I just again trying to keep the yeah, that'd be great. Just trying to keep the
Yeah,
connection flowing, man. But
yeah, they gotta be so scared to miss it.
that Scrooge is where I first heard about the Manson family because that joke didn't. I remember that joke making zero sense to me the first time.
Oh, for real?
For the Manson family Christmas special, but I had no clue who the Manson family was at the time. So
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, okay. Well, it I don't want to do a cyber to the word Scrooge, but Frank Cross was a guy who was supposedly very good at selling television, and his idea of selling a Christmas special was scaring old people to death. And what I feel like Caterpillar was doing with this is trying so hard not to get caught because it was not legal until Reagan said it was legal for commercials to be longer than like what 30 seconds.
I couldn't tell you the specifics, but probably.
Yeah, because after him came infomercials and all these things that you're like, whoa, I just watched this. I mean, what was He-Man and G.I. Joe? They were toy commercials that were upwards of 22 minutes long. They weren't
Later
like,
2 hours.
yeah, now they're, yeah. So, yeah, Caterpillar probably was like, no, 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 man. we got to disguise it. We got to make sure this doesn't seem like a commercial for us. We're only going to have our backhoes and front end loaders in one shot. Right.
30 seconds of footage.
Yep, exactly. The rest of the time, we got to make people so like you're gonna die if roads aren't fixed by Caterpillar. We got to really drive that home. And so that's all the movie's doing.
Let's all handwrite letters to our senators to demand bad roads.
Yeah, it was. He gets to that point. I mean, because what's the solution? Okay, what can we tell him? Well, it's all right to our senators to get a contract with Caterpillar. No, that's too much. We need to fix these roads. Who should we call? Hey, who made that movie?
It's like, what if we made everyone our lobbyists?
I mean, did it not read that way for you when you were watching it? I mean, because it really is trying hard to make it sound like you cannot drive anywhere without being as bad of a human being as a man who will shoot people and run away from a robbery.
Yeah, the more you think about this movie, the more, and I'm not going to say that obviously you're right. It does not have a author hand behind the directing, but it is like bizarrely surreal, almost like when we were talking with Land Without Bread. When you start thinking about it, you're like, none of this is good advice or practical advice or realistic advice.
No, it's terrible. And I mean,
it's like,
about it was one shot where they're talking about, okay, so the speed limit on this road is 55. That's fine. And then they show the fake rain coming on the sign, and like, but it changes in the rain to 45. And I was just waiting for like it to go, but then have blood spattered on the sign. Like, please do it. They didn't do it.
Actually, the highways in Japan, I don't use them much because you have to always pay for them, right? But they do have electronic speed limit signs that change according to conditions.
Huh. We could really use that, but I can tell you now, Americans wouldn't give a crap.
They'd all get smashed up. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't. They're going the speed they want to go, and that's just it.
But they're not keeping to the speed limit. It's just that's what the sign says.
Okay, it's a suggestion, right?
Yeah. Well, no, it's the same as the States. It's a speed limit, but everyone's driving faster. But yeah, it does change. So it's kilometers per hour. So I think it usually says 80, which means people drive 100 kilometers per hour. But if it's rainy or there's a type, if it's rainy or something, they'll change it to 60. And then if it's like a typhoon or something, I haven't been on a highway in a typhoon, but I think they'll change it to like 40 or something.
Here, the bigger your vehicle is, the less the speed limits really apply to you. Because the idea is the bigger your vehicle is, the more likely you are to survive the crash, and the more likely you are to kill an inferior human being who forgot to buy a giant truck.
Right. But again, the practical advice in this film is along the lines of, if you use a bad road, you are an asshole. Use a different road that goes somewhere else. But I want to go to the supermarket. You're not now. Now you're going to the porno shop.
Right. You're like, how did I end up in New Mexico? Look, man, I said I wanted a Slurpee. I don't know what. Did you watch that video? Yeah, I did.
All the straight roads head to New Mexico. Wow, I don't even know what that means. But no, that was.
I think that's on their license plates.
But I do think you probably can. Maybe that advice makes a little bit more sense in the Midwest. But yeah.
Yeah, no.
No, in Japan, it's like the weird. They do work on the roads all the time, but it's mountains. They got rain, snow, all that stuff. So there are lots of, especially backwoods roads in questionable conditions. But
sure, no.
The way I see it here, we have small dangerous roads, but the drivers usually don't suck.
Yeah, no. Here it's bad drivers, and plus the infrastructure, which is what this movie is really kind of attacking, is one of our least important things that we spend money on. And really, the only time you see people tearing up the roads, which seems to be constantly for some reason, is just so that they, if they fall short of their budget, they want to make sure they get that same money next year. They're like, oh man, we spent less this year. Can we just like tear something down real quick? Oh, totally.
Yeah, same thing in Japan. In fact, it's on steroids here because in the 80s and 90s, when it was like bubble time, they were building like every small village has like some giant brutalist concrete, like art center.
Wow.
So it's kind of weird. I think I just said that to someone else too, but whatever. I can repeat myself if I want
Yeah.
to.
The good news about that was anyone, no matter
I
where you
can
live,
repeat myself if I want to.
I can repeat myself if I want to.
Okay, sorry, you were saying?
No matter where you live, you can shoot your own version of RoboCop somewhere.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, actually, or I would say more Total Recall.
Total Recall.
Yeah, because they did it in Mexico City with all that, like, kind of same. I think it was the same place they did the Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, yeah. The one I like is the university in Canada where Cronenberg made Crimes of the Future. Man, what a cool looking place that was.
Which of the future?
Crimes of the Future, his movie.
Oh,
A long
okay.
time ago.
Okay. I guess I never saw that one. Yeah, it's come across before. Like, I'm not always down with the body horror, and Cronenberg has like the especially disturbing version of that. So I'm not quite as up on his film as I should be, but I did like seeing him in Star Trek Discovery last year. That was fun.
Yeah, he's gonna be making one more movie. He's pushing 80.
Wow. Yeah. Did you see him in Star Trek Discovery?
Yes, I did. I like Discovery.
Yeah. I thought he was great in that. And it was
No,
he just like lived down the street, so they're like, okay, I guess we'll bring him in.
yeah, no, he's in Jason X. He's in Nightbreed. I mean, Cronenberg's actually a good actor.
Yeah. So I think that might. I guess I'm sure I've seen him somewhere else. But I would have seen him in Jason X. But yeah, he just stuck there. More than the guy in The Perfect Crime, of course. There we go. David Cronenberg doing that would be cool. There's just
Yeah,
I guess there's so many people. If you were to play this a little bit more as a dark satire, and you put in your Frank Cross or your Cronenberg, this would actually be pretty fun.
yeah, no, it would, and it's fun to think about like these directors going back to their old educational film background because many of the great directors did begin in industrials and things like that. To have them go back and remake one of them.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Although it's getting a little too far past the educational film prime area. Yeah, but then in 20 years, again, something they're making now is probably going to be like have a bizarre charm to it. So
Yeah, it could be.
I guess we'll wrap that one. So tell them your deets.
Oh, right. So my friends and I here in Athens, Georgia, we make movies together, and we are called Gonzorific, GONZORIFFIC. And we have gonzorific.com. We're on the Instagram, the Twitter, the FaceSpace, all of those stuff. And our latest movie is called Areola Jones and the Home Video Vixens.
Vixen. Sorry, I was trying to like make it into like a verb, but it's just the same word.
Yeah, fix the rub.
I'm Vixen. It doesn't work. Okay. Well, we learn something every day.
I'm Vixen to buy some independent films.
There we go. This podcast is Aural Hygiene Pod. It's on Twitter. It's on Facebook. If you feel like telling me how stupid I am, that's a good place to do it. Otherwise, you can hear some music. That's at rovingsagemedia.bandcamp.com, where I've made insane amounts of albums, and you play drums on several of them. So
Yeah.
you're there too. Okay, don't drive anywhere. Don't get in your car because you don't want to be an asshole.
Don't even say car.
What do we? Automobile. These automobiles are all infesting our roads. Where are the horse and buggies?